as the majority of the Blitz community understands, the fact that the FV215B183 is considerably the deadliest and most feared tank destroyer in World of Tanks Blitz is clearly a factual statement, due to the fact that it has the highest alpha in the game. Also carrying a 183mm armament, hence the name, dealing an average of 950 on its standard, 1,210 on its premium, and 1,390 on the regular high explosives. And it also has troll armor along with that, which means that if you aim it in the wrong spot, you can get the occasional troll bounce here and there. But there is a vehicle that's lurking on console that pretty much outdoes the 183, also carries the same millimeters of armament, has much better armor, and we all know for a fact that the FV215B183 has a quarter turret, but this variation has a half turret, surprisingly enough. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to the Ruthless. This is a tier 10 Mercenary Nation premium. It is possibly considered to be the new deadliest vehicle on World of Tanks console due to the fact that it carries 1,150 average on its standard penetration, which is absolutely insane to even think about. Also carrying 1,450 on its premium HEs and 1,650 on the standard HEs. And the pen factors are actually fairly solid as well. Having the same pen as the original 183 at 310, having the same HE pen at 230, and 92 on the regular HE. And this vehicle, surprisingly enough, is fairly maneuverable, and it's got pretty solid hit points sitting at 2,000. In terms of the maneuverability, it goes 40 forward and 15 in reverse, and also has a power to weight of 11.79 along with that, while also carrying 2,174 damage per minute. That basically accounts because you have like above a 30-second reload time, which is the unfortunate part. Yeah, 31.7 seconds, dealing an average of 1150. Now that's insane to even think about apart from that. And now that you've gotten a glimpse of what the sheer power of this vehicle is capable of doing, just deteriorating your opponent's hit points like there's no tomorrow, let's get into a couple of games and see how we can fare well as apart from this. Our first battle is going to be on Ghost Town, which is actually a really small map, coming to think of it. You've got wide outer bank areas that have a lot of flat ground spots, and then the whole middle is just nothing but city. You do have a bit of ridge lines as well, to where if you are in a vehicle with solid bits of gun depression, then you can work those ridge lines quite well as apart from that. So in terms of their TDs, I'm just going to fast forward just a little bit. They have a 183 on their enemy team. They have a Grill 15, a E4, and they also have a Bar, which is basically a more higher end variation of a 4502B, but with the freaking howitzer on it. That thing is absolutely insane. A Waffenträger off Panzer IV, a Stritzfong 1030, and a TL7 Black. Yes, the TL7 is penciled in as a TD, while it's a heavy on Blitz. It's actually kind of stupid to even think about as a part of that. So here we go, going on into game number 1. Let's go ahead and go on in towards the city and see how we can fare well apart from that. The vehicle does feel a little bit lackluster in its power to weight, but then again, this is a heavily armored tank destroyer with a deadly 183mm, pretty much just dealing as much damage as that of a 183, and basically just ripping hit points out of your opponents like crazy. So we are just going to be moseying on through. I'm actually just going to go ahead and fast forward just a little bit into the combat portion of this. So our Rhino is actually getting pecked by this 95E6. I was going to expect for him to poke behind this ridge line, but that doesn't end up being the case as he gets deducted 700 hit points out of his vehicle. Now we already noticed that our Bad Chatillon 25-ton already got cleared. So now we got the 183 off to the left side. We were able to spot him. I wanted to try to see if I can get a shell into him, but at the same time, this T95E6 is just going to try to bait us in the time being. And he does get packed off by our ally tank right there, our E100, and he does end up getting cleared apart from that by the enemy E100. Alright, so now I'm going to take my chances towards this 183 as he is not eyeballing me at the moment. I'm loading in my HEs. I got the side of his turret exposed. And, okay, 561 damage, that's not bad. I do gotta say that when you misfire the AGs, you'll still be able to put up some fairly solid damage outputs. I mean, 500 to 600 damage is not bad at all. Alrighty, so we are reloading once again, as this gun is taking, of course, 10 billion years to reload once again. Alright, so we got the enemy bar spotted off the back, not able to spot him. We also got the 257 lurking off to the side. There's the Lemon Rust, and just like that, 1122 out of his vehicle. Just like that, guys. That is what the sheer power of this tank is capable of doing. Just ripping freaking hit points out of your opponents. Like, oh my goodness. That is a crazy starting shot right there apart from our behalf. We also got the enemy MBT spotted off to the right. Yes, the MBT is a tier 10. Like I mentioned before a couple of times, we're just going to aim on into his vehicle. And another 1,100 hit points. Like, oh my gosh. This thing is absolutely nuts, guys. Alright. Unfortunately for our Rhino, he does end up going AFK at the last second, where he might have lost connection. And now he's being pecked off by some vehicles off in the back. So now we realize that there's an enemy that's in our base. So I wanted to try to see if I could hold off some more of these enemies that are possibly going to try to push up along with the enemy in the base. We got the 95 E6, the other one apart from that. Wanted to try to take my chances to see if I get a shot into him, but that does not end up being the case. We got the Lemon Rust coming on in. This is pretty much a stupid variation of a Mark 1 heavy with a turret at tier 10 with stupid amounts of armor. And just like that, we tried to aim it on his lower plate, and it didn't end up being the case because that thing's armor is basically stupid. Yep, and there goes our AFK Rhino at this point. And it looks like whoever was in the base looks to be cleared, so that's really good. We also got the Object 257, the MBT is moving on up. And now this is going to be the part where the AG portion comes in. We're waiting. Oh my god, that is a full health TL7. 1,500 hit points deducted out of his vehicle. Oh my god, guys. What the heck is this tank, man? Crazy, I should say. Oh my gosh. Alright. Well, we got the MBT. He looks like he's not going to be taking his chances against me. There's the bar with the freaking howitzer. Wanted to see if I could AG him on his side skirt. That doesn't end up being the case. We still deduct 500 hit points out of him, which is still a fairly solid chunker. Alright, so we are just going to be waiting right here. We got the 257 off to the side. He did try to peck us once, but it didn't really lead to his fortunate outcome apart from that. We also got an enemy lurking off towards the back. We did spot for the slightest second. Alright, so then we're just going to be moseying on up until I realize there's the enemy bar right there. Looks like that we are going to lose this game, unfortunately enough. It's clearly not our fault, as we're just kind of trying our best to hold the spot. We have so many enemies that are lurking off in towards the town area right here that there's really nothing I can do apart from my behalf. We got the Stritzfong off in the back. Yes, the Stritzfong is a tier 9 in this variation of World of Tanks. Alright, so we are just going to be seeing and waiting for this bar to maybe poke on out once again, which it looks like the E5 is going to be lurking on out, trying to see if we can get a shot into him, which he does end up bouncing. So now we're loading in our APs once again, loading in on his lower plate. 1133. What the heck, bro? Absolutely insane. Now the bar is going to try to see if he can finish me off, and it looks like that he's eyeballing me. I get stuck. Oh, this doesn't look good. Ooh, and then there's the enemy 183 that's hitting me on my side, unfortunately enough. We got the enemy E4, looks like he's out in the open. He's gonna fire, and it looks like that he did bounce me, but I bounce him back. That's the unfortunate part. Apart from that, I didn't take my chances going on into sniper mode. But the good news is that the E4 misses. But the unfortunate part is that this 183 is gonna tunnel me and finish me off. But hey, 6,000 damage in this one. All we had to do was just fire like 6 shots. And that's insta 6,000 damage as apart from that. I'm just going to go ahead and skip on forward to the aftermath, as this C95 is going to be cleared apart from that. Yep, that is an unfortunate defeat apart from that. And, of course, we were able to do the best damage in the game at this one. And then in terms of our medals, we get a second class apart from that, and a lot of other goodies apart from that. And then we were able to do top on the team, which is actually fairly solid. And then we make our way into game number 2 on Pilsen. This is also a fairly small map, but you have a giant, like, warehouse facility type of map design. You have, like, the factory in the middle. You can basically see, like, the landmarks on the map to where you're basically planting yourself. That's the beauty part of having mini maps like this. So you basically know what spots that you want to plant your vehicle at. Alright, so in terms of TDs in this one, they have a Waffenträger Alf E100. And it looks like they have an Iron Rain, which is basically a RHM BWT, but with only the standard gun on it. Alright, so 2-1. And we are going to be moseying on through, but like always, we are going to be getting on into the combat portion of this. We're just going to mosey right here for the time being. We got a Tiger 2 spotted off in the back, which he's not playing himself, but we got a Sheridan lurking right there. Yeah, I don't know what that player was thinking, just trying to see if he could maybe get away with using his speed to his advantage, but that didn't really seem to end up working, as he was within a range to where I could easily peck him off and finish him for that matter. Alrighty, so let's see what else they would have that would be lurking off in the back over here. Looks like I have a lot of support going the same direction as I am. We got the M48AG lurking off in the back. We also got the Waffenträger Alpha 100. I'm loading in my HEs. We got a clear shot on the top of his roof right there. We do fire 654 damage, but that's totally okay. Like I said, you can get away with rolling about an average of that of like some typical heavies with those super ridiculous guns like an E100, for example. That means you can still out-trade E100s in that regards if you do manage to get the AGs and deal that much damage, which is actually quite crazy to even think about. Alright, we got the T-57 Heavy lurking off towards the side. We are not going to be spotting this guy, as it looks like that he is going to be staying put right behind that little building right there. So, let's see what else they would have lurking off towards the side. I'm actually going to fast forward just a little bit. We got the M103 off to the side. He pecks me for one. I look at my AGs. Oh, just barely misses it, which is totally alright though. So now that's going to give me the opportunity to reload, as it looks like that he did try to fire, but it did end up not leading to the outcome as he expected. And we are just going to continue reloading once again. The M103 is going to poke once again, not really sure why, so I'm basically just trying to bait him just by letting him fire the shell on my track. He does miss again. I did see that shell marker fly by him. Alright, so reloading again. We are in a side scrape. Apart from that, there he is. 1181! Oh my god, this gun is absolutely insane, guys. This is the advantage of being in something that can just rip your opponents and take advantage of that of what average 183. Guys, oh my gosh, absolutely insane to even think about. Alright, we got the enemy Iron Rain lurking off out in the open right over there. My teammate's gonna fire for once, do 499, and then we are going to finish him off lickety-split without a hassle. Alrighty then, so we are just going to mosey on upwards. I'm just going to fast forward just a little bit once again. We got the M48A2. Looks like we could have spotted them at the last second. And that is as far as our gun turn ratio can go. Like I said, this is a half turret instead of a quarter turret, unlike the 183 is. Alright, so moseying on out. It kind of looks like a turret that can just go like a full 360-degree rotation, considering that there's no barricades or anything blocking like its engine deck or anything like that. Actually kind of strange the way this tank was implemented, but that's more gaming for you. So anyways, let's go ahead and mosey on out. We got the Waffenträger Alpha 100. We also got the enemy VZ off to the side. We're going to go ahead and fire it on the side of his turret. Ooh, and we ammo rack him to 1,400 hit points, guys. Like I'm telling you, absolutely crazy once again. What a beast of a vehicle that this tank destroyer can be, and how it pretty much takes advantage over that of a 183. We ended up doing the top 3 slot as a part from this team. 5139, that is going to put us the best damage in the game once again. Along with destroying 3 vehicles, that is going to make it the most destroyed tanks in this game as well. Pulling out yet again another second class, and we were able to do a fairly solid result for a second time. Yeah, probably gotta say that this thing I do tend to have a lot of fun in at times, considering, look at that average damage, bro. 1150 is just insane. It's pretty much in the state to where the 183 is on the Reforged variation, if you have a commander applied to it. But as we all know, as apart from my last video talking about the commanders, the 2D and 3D commanders, it's implemented a little bit differently. There's no restrictions based upon what class of vehicle you can assign a commander to, nor is there a restriction based upon the abilities that are pre-applied, because you could choose various amounts of abilities to apply to a certain commander of your choosing. That's kind of the advantage of something like that. Especially for a vehicle that only carries 6 degrees of gun depression. It's not pretty, but it does do the job quite well, especially for the thickness on the turret that it does carry. Hopefully you guys did end up enjoying today's video on the other hand, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on those bell notifications while you're at it so you do not miss out on any new videos. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.